Alright folks, we are finally back again. It is a long time no see here in the Road to Masters. And now we are on part 9, and I'm not gonna lie, this is drugging on for a lot more parts than I was originally anticipating, considering how quickly I got the Masters in terms of how few races it took me in the last 2 games. But hey, we ran into some more difficulties here in this one, and I guess it just makes for a more entertaining series than like the 3-part series it was in last year's game. So, nonetheless, here we are at Saudi Arabia, and right there is a big mistake. I have invalidated my lap, and I'm not gonna lie, it felt really weird to drive this track on the new patch. My setup felt fine in time trial, but it just felt like maybe it was bottoming out in the corners or something. It just felt so fucking understeery. I couldn't believe it. It felt like I had wing damage. It was that bad. And yeah, it's really frustrating off the start to have an invalidation, but hey, this is a track where it's very easy to overtake, so hopefully we can still get some overtakes done in the race. And as more people joined in the race, we start 6th out of 9, which isn't all that bad. We get a decent start. I under-revved a little bit. I forgot that in the newer patch I can hold just a tiny bit more rev. And yeah, solid start so far. I'm just going to try to slot in and just do my thing, race my race, be consistent here. I know my setup doesn't feel great, so I wasn't hoping for too much in this race, but I knew I'd still be able to get some free positions eventually. Nonetheless, as long as I kept it smooth, so that will be the name of the game here in this one. Also kind of looking back and watching these races, I realize I'm kind of a little too conservative with my ERS usage in these 5-lap races. It's good to be conservative with the battery, but not as much as I have been in some of these races, because you also got to remember, these are only 5-lap races, so yeah, it's time to go immediately right off the rip. So yeah, maybe in the future I need to focus on maybe use a little bit more of my battery. Like here, I saved it. I could have used a lot more. Well, I guess maybe there not so much, but here, no reason for me not to just dump a decent amount of battery here, make sure I secure the overtake, and get right on the rear wing of the next car. No reason not to do that. I only use a little bit of ERS there, so that's going to allow this guy to remain alongside me, have the inside of the corner. But now coming down the main strip, we are going to dump the battery. And are we going to get enough of a run? No, again, turned the battery off. Maybe in hindsight, I shouldn't have turned the battery off. But nonetheless, we're going to try to get him under braking. We don't quite do it. Maybe we can get better traction than him coming out of turn 2. So yeah, frustratingly enough, we're definitely getting held up by this guy so far. But in hindsight, maybe I should have used more battery to secure the overtake. But nonetheless, the leaders are not breaking away. We are still very much in this race. I'm still being very weary of my setup because of how weird it felt. You can tell, especially coming through these corners. I'm on the limit, but it looks like I'm not going fast at all. I've really got to figure out what is up with my setup on this track, because it feels just fucking awful to drive. And it's not like I'm on super heavy fuel either. This is only a 5-lap race, and for the car to feel this bad this immediately is really not a good sign. So I'm going to have to completely relook at the setup for this track. But nonetheless, still it is decent enough to drive, and it should be decent enough to at least get some overtakes done. If I stop being overly conservative with the battery, here we are, most of the way through lap 2, and I still have almost 90% battery. But here, I probably won't be making the same mistake again. Got a great run here. We're using the battery, getting alongside, and now we have the inside, unlike last lap, and we're going to be able to secure this overtake with little to no problem. And now we need to get right up to the rear wing of this yellow car head. He already has his battery flashing, but I'm sure that's for the limit of his usage for the lap. Yeah, he's really using the battery, unlike we are. So yeah, you can see the leader's not breaking away from us at all. This is still good early signs for us. We still are very much on for a chance to win this race. Coming through Sector 1, I'm still very conscious of how bad my setup has been feeling. And even just watching it back, I can just remember how awful it felt. You can see there, I just absolutely cannot keep it stuck on the apex. The car ahead just absolutely says no to that corner. gains about half a second, and he did not get a penalty for that either. Just going to show how great the penalty system is in this game. Obvious sarcasm there. If there's ever a time for an instant penalty, it should be for an egregious corner cut like that, where someone just gains the better half of a second. But anyhow, we should still be within the DRS here. We are. And the one benefit of this shitty feeling setup is that it is absolutely a missile down the straight. And here you see me cut another corner. Just the understeer is unbelievable. I still can't believe how bad the setup felt in the race. I mean, my league race I did on this race felt better, and that was pre-patch. The car felt better. And that really says something there. But yeah, you can see them. Again, the red light blinking on the rear end of the yellow car. I'm going to use this DRS straight to get as close to him as possible. But yeah, Sector 1 is our trouble spot, so we just really need to keep him from breaking away as much as possible here. So hopefully we can get this overtake done, because if we want any chance of winning this race, we gotta at least get this overtake done on this yellow car here, this lap. So then maybe we can get the final two cars. I mean, I really need the leader and the second place guy battling, but as you can see, the leader is kind of a little bit breaking away from the second place car. So my chances of that are not too great at the moment, but still, gotta at least get a podium here, especially when it's, again, just a dumb mistake. And there, speaking of dumb mistakes, I was about to talk about my dumb mistake in qualifying, and there, our Mr. Yellow car, too aggressive on the power, and that is going to be a free position for us. And as we progress to the last lap, you can see not only is my car bottoming out in the corners, but I'm also having a lot of overheating issues with the tires, which is just making things all the worse. And I can see the blinking red light on the back of this car. I know we got a big ERS advantage. You can see how much of a missile we are on the straights. It is just as good as our cornering is bad with this setup. Even though he got a much better run out of that corner, yeah, he knows it, we know. Oh, he goes for a little cheeky switch back there, a little bit of an asshole move, but that is not gonna work on us. This is far from our first rodeo dealing with people like that on the straights. We're gonna take the position. We don't get the win, but hey, a P2 out of 9 cars is still solid, and that's still gonna be us moving forward in our road to Masters. And our next race is at France. I feel like this track has come up for us a lot in this road to Masters, and it's been some good, some bad, so hopefully we can keep it on the good side here in this race. Still got an okay sized lobby, not the minimal 6 people that you see for most of my races. I am still, no matter what, going to stick by the rule of the 6 people, and also stick by the rule of if I join a lobby and qualifying's in progress, I'm still hopping into that race, folks, no matter what. It is a hard challenge. I don't want to say it's a hard challenge. I mean, we're still going to get the Masters eventually. But it is a hurdle nonetheless, because as you've seen so far in this playthrough, well, this ranked playthrough, I should say, it's not really a full game playthrough, our biggest enemy are other humans. Not just the fact that we have to beat other humans to get Masters, but most other humans, especially the ones in ranked play, are either A, incompetent, B, assholes, or C, both. And here I just absolutely pull a Leclerc, and yeah, I was surprised I spun out there, honestly. I carried too much speed into the corner, and yeah, that's fucking annoying. So, but it looks like a lot of other people invalidated and messed up their laps, so it looks like it's still going to be P4 for us in qualifying. And as annoying as P4 was in qualifying, out of, well, it was 8 people, but 1 left, so 7 people at the race, it's easy enough to overtake on France that we are still in a great position here, especially if we get a good launch off the line, which it looks like we do. And yes, we do get a good launch off the line, especially in the second stage, because we got that overtake on right off the start, already up into P3. We're going to leave the width on the inside, and we're just going to get run into by 2 people from behind. And yeah, this one was extremely frustrating because, you know, I not only was I at least towards the front of the grid, but I even made sure to leave extra room on the inside, and I still not only get hit by the guy that was on my inside, but I also get hit in the ass by the guy behind me as well. So yeah, we are out of this race with no chance of catching people up because we are at least at the lobbies where people have okay pace, and at no fault of our own, we have a nice step backwards in the Road to Masters, which, while you always know it's going to happen, still extremely frustrating nonetheless. And after the extremely frustrating race in France, where we get last place at absolutely no fault of our own, we arrive here at Imola. And to my both surprise and delight, it is full wet, not just for qualifying, but for the race as well. And yeah, I have both wet and dry setups on every track. So yeah, even though I have a little bit of a oversteer moment or issue getting on the power there, you can see in the top left we are actually currently P2, but we have a good corner here, series of good corners, and that is quickly going to change to a P1. And yeah, I knew that I was more than likely the only person with wet and dry setups in the entire lobby, and I have really good pace in the wet. So as soon as I saw this, I basically chalked it up as a win mentally, but still, can't get too confident. Still, I've made mistakes in qualifying, so still anything can happen. But yeah, that really helps the confidence. I wish we had more of these wet races because they're basically free points for us. And free points, yeah, we'll take that all day, even though it's boring for you guys. And you can see I'm even backing off a little bit on this lap, not absolutely on the limit, because I see in the top left corner I'm going to get pole position, so no reason to take any unnecessary risks. Still in P1 currently, come up to the line, secure that pole position, and now we got to turn it into a win in the race. And as we get the 5 red lights and a random catchphrase as we launch off the line, we get a great start here in the wet. Big gap to the cars behind, but after what happened in France, I was basically assuming that someone would overshoot turn 1 and hit me because it's ranked play and everyone's fucking incompetent. But no one does that. We break away with absolutely no problem, and we gap the field by 14 seconds. And yeah, after I skip ahead because I don't want to bore you guys with the race where absolutely fucking nothing happens, you see we join a session here in progress at Portugal, the new track. 8 people in qualifying, but there's even more in the race. And now starting from the back, so we missed qualifying, 10th out of 10 in the race. Good chance for points here. P9 jump starts, and we get an okay launch, but we don't want to get too aggressive. But as you can see here, we're going to get a free positions because that guy's backing off. We're going to stick to the inside. We're going to avoid humans, and we get a little loose there. But, you know, all is well. We overshoot that corner. That was actually not by design, regardless of what I usually say about doing that on purpose. And yeah, not the best start at all. Still last, but plenty of time to make up positions on a track that I do know I have decent pace at. And we got to avoid that car turning in very sharply there. And he gets loose onto the throttle, so that's going to be 1 position down. Another 8 to go. And then he's just going to hit us in the rear. Because, like I always say, my biggest enemy in ranked play is the existence of other humans. Because even though we are in Gold 2 and racing other Gold and high silver drivers, everyone is still completely fucking incompetent. And can't help but hitting everyone they get fucking near. Which is, again, extremely frustrating. Because we should have been done with this Road to Masters many episodes ago. But we just keep getting put in these positions where we got to deal with all of these people that, you know, it's insane where the percentage of people I've gotten near in this Road to Masters playthrough, like you as a viewer can probably just assume when I get anywhere near another human being in these lobbies, like, oh, someone's about to hit Logan. That's definitely what's about to happen here, because it happens well more than 50% of the time. I wonder what the actual statistics are of other human appearances on screen in this Road to Masters, like the ratio of them appearing to hitting me. I'm sure it's some pretty good betting odds where, you know, you would actually make more of a pretty penny by voting that they don't hit me. But nonetheless, we are in 9th out of 10, and we gotta repass this asshole that couldn't help but hitting us the first chance that he got. And of course, we are going to assume that he will end up doing a similar thing again. So we are being extra cautious around him. He's going to way overshoot that corner because he's not very good. Still holding us up. We're going to shoot to the inside here. Pray that he doesn't hit us in the ass. Coming into the next corner, please don't do it. Please don't do it. I just want to play the game normally and function, unlike you people. And speaking of functioning normally, we got another guy spinning out and resetting to the track. And just like that, we gained 2 positions. But we got held up so much that now there is a big gap to the field. And that's a gap that shouldn't be there. We should already be up fighting in that group. But at no fault of our own, because I make this dumbass rule where I have to race lobbies I join where qualifying is in progress, we are not, because everyone we get near hits us. But nonetheless, we quickly catch up to these people because they're fighting around every corner. We're also not that smart. I'm not even going to be nice about these people anymore. We're going to go down the inside, get good traction on the exit. We are still going to be respectful and leave the space on the outside, but anyhow, oh, I got to check up heavy there. I actually forgot about that part. I had to really check up there. I have no idea what that guy was doing, but hey, he's doing his best. He's going at it. We are up to P5. Quickly gaining positions down this race that we got by certain somebody. He goes out wide, doesn't get the best traction. This is going to be our opportunity to swoop around the outside. Of course, he's going to try to dive and keep it in the inside. You gotta think, you know, he can do that here. You know, is it smart for him to do it because we clearly have more pace? No, but he probably doesn't know. He's not keeping track of everyone. And hey, it's ranked. You gotta try to keep every position you can get. So fair play for him for actually trying to fight back and move and doing it without hitting me, which honestly really surprised me because anytime I see red arrows, I assumed I am going to get absolutely McBeamed and sent to the Shadow Realm. But it didn't happen there, thank goodness, and we can continue on with our race. Now already on lap 4, this race is going by very quickly. That's the only bad thing about these 5-lap races. You don't have a lot of time to make up ground when you A, have to start at the back, or B, get hit and get spun out. So yeah, considering both of those things happened in this race, I feel like we're doing a pretty good job nonetheless. Up to P4, we see the 2 cars ahead of us. We're gaining on them pretty quickly, so hopefully we can get into the DRS range at the end of this lap. As we advance to the final lap, we are unable to get into DRS range yet, but hopefully they can battle, or we can have some awesome pace here in the last sector to be able to catch up and get by them. And that time I lost to that last place car is just now really biting me in the ass, which was really frustrating because I know, like, man, if that guy just didn't hit us, I would already be up to and past these people. But is what it is. We're P4 right now. Only a couple corners to go, so hopefully one of them makes a mistake so we can get by them. Doesn't look like that's going to happen right now. Still got some ERS in the bank, so maybe we can make a godlike, heroic run to the line, get one of these positions. But yeah, it is not going to happen for us. And unfortunately, we're going to come across the line all the way down in P4, which is really disappointing, honestly, because we got fastest lap by, I think it was like half a second. We have all this pace, and we just don't even get an opportunity to show it off because I make a dumb rule in myself that I have to follow of joining races, even if they're already in qualifying. And yeah, like I always say, every time we get near other humans, our day will get fucked up. And yeah, it's... as much as I know, like, these ranked races don't matter, it's my league races where it really counts, it is kind of frustrating to just know that there's a bunch of cars that you should easily be finishing ahead of every single race, just getting points off of you just because someone that's a back marker in DNFs hits you. It's just a really frustrating experience, but hey, I know I'm preaching to the choir with everyone that plays ranked play. So, nonetheless, we had 4 races today. Unfortunate circumstances in 3 of them, but hey, the ones we can control, we are doing a really good job in. The Saudi Arabia one was inconvenient, but we ran it back to second. The race where I actually got to qualify at Imola, we absolutely dominated. And then we had 2 races where we just get hit, which is really inconvenient because all the points that I'm gaining when I do good, we're just losing at no fault of our own. So we really just it's comes down to luck at this point. It's the luck of getting big enough lobbies that I can gain good points, but also just being able to qualify and then not getting beamed in the first half a lap to be able to show off our pace when we're at least half a second faster in the field. But hey, it is what it is, and I guess this series is dragging on to at least part 10 because we're still only gold 2. We got 2 more ranks to go yet, but hey, we're going to get there nonetheless. And it's going to be really frustrating for me along the way, which probably means entertaining for you guys. So yeah, again, sorry about the regularity of the videos, but we will get back to regular uploads soon enough. Thanks again for hanging out. And then the next time, like I said a couple episodes ago, we're coming out for blood now. You know, there's no more Mr. Nice Guy. We are very much getting tired of these rammers.